All right, guys, before we get started, are there any questions over the homework? Any questions over the homework assignment? Because we have 2-1, 2-2, and 2-3-1. What we're looking at today is 2-3-2. So it's still the same equations, but the big difference is that the vertex is going to be at the origin. So for all the ones that we're looking at today, vertex is at the origin. All that means is that the vertex is at the point 0, 0. So when the vertex is at the origin, our vertex is the point 0, 0. So it's telling us that. So that means our values of h and k are both going to be 0. So these forms here, y equals 1 over 4p times x squared, we can think of the 1 over 4p as just a. Both these are just a. And we're going to do the same thing, just filling in h and k as 0. So when we look at this first example here, we want to identify, because we are going to identify the vertex too. Vertex, focus, directrix, and axis of symmetry from x equals negative 1 over 4 y squared. So as we did yesterday, the general form, a times y minus k squared plus h, is our general form. Now we do still need to find the values of h, k, p, and a. So h is added to it on the outside. Well, that value is 0 since there is no value added to the end. It's understood to be 0. What's the value of k? 0. We don't have a set of parentheses. We don't have a number inside of there, so it's also 0. What's the value of a? Negative 1 over 4. So at this point here, the only value that we're missing is p, and p is equal to 1 over 4. Okay. So we just have to plug our value of a in to find p. So we'd have 1 over 4 times negative 1/4, which is going to be all right, guys. So vertex is the point h comma k. Well, the value of h and k are both 0, so it's just going to be 0, 0. Focus for our or x equals equation is h plus p, comma k. Well, k is 0. To calculate h plus p, our value of h is 0. Our value of p is negative 1. So 0 plus negative 1 is negative 1. Directrix, x equals h minus p. So when we calculate h minus p, it's 1 minus negative 1. Well, the negative and negative make a plus, telling us that it is 1. Axis of symmetry, y equals k, which would be y equals 0. Questions on this here? So realistically, this is no different than what we've been doing this week. The only big difference is that the value of h and k for all these here are going to be 0. You ready for the next one? Y equals 0.5x squared. So looking at this here, y equals 0.5x squared. What's the value of h and k? It's going to be 0 and 0 because we don't have the set of parentheses around our x. That means there is no h. We're not adding or subtracting something from x to get our h. We're not adding anything to the end, so that is also 0. It is also telling us that the value of a is 0.5. To find p is equal to 1 over 4 a. So we'd have 1 over 4 times 0.5, which is, lo and behold, 0.5. So vertex is the point h comma k. Well, that's just going to be 0, 0. Now for x equals, we have h plus p comma k. Okay. Yep. Wait a minute. I'm flipping this. That's what I thought. I knew something was off because this isn't. That's y, and this should be what? It's not h plus p. It is h comma k plus p. So again, that's why I've been saying, especially all this week, make sure to be referring back to the general forms because it is very easy to flip these because I just did it right there. Because we have y equals, focus is h comma k plus p. I was trying to apply the focus for the other equation. Now, h is 0. Now, if we wanted to calculate k plus p, well, k is 0. P is 0 plus 0.5 is 0.5. So the focus is the point 0 comma 0.5, 0 comma 1/2. Direct 6 general form is k minus p, 0 minus 0.5. Which is negative 0.5. And the axis of symmetry, x equals h. X equals 0. Questions on this here? Y equals negative 0.5. So the reason we got y equals negative 0.5 is the general form for it is y equals k minus p. So we need to evaluate that. So k minus p, well, k is 0, p is 0.5, yes? So we're going to do 0 minus 0.5. So 0 minus 0.5 is going to become negative 0.5 because 0 minus a number is just going to be whatever that number is. So it becomes negative 0.5. So it just becomes negative, yes. Does that make sense? Questions on this here? Let's look at least one or two more, and then we can go on and move on, because I think we feel good with these here, yes? So looking at this here, h and k are, well, 0 because there's nothing, there's not a number that lines up with h and k. So they would both be 0. A is -1/2. B is 1/4 times A for 1/4 times -1/2. Which, funny enough, is -1/2. Okay, since it is x equals, would be our h plus p comma k. Direct 6. General form is x equals h minus p. Axis of symmetry, y equals k in the general form. So y equals 0. So the nice thing with these equations here, even with our other forms, we just get h and k. We can plug that in. The only thing we have left to do is find out what h plus p is and h minus p. So h plus p, well, h is 0. P is -1/2. So we're saying 0 plus -1/2 is -1/2. So now we have the focus, -1/2 comma 0. Direct 6 is h minus p, so 0 minus -1/2. Well, a negative and negative would make a, so 0 plus 1/2, which is just going to be 1/2. If you're wondering, yes, when the vertex is at 0, 0, those two values for the focus and direct 6 are really just opposite signs of each other, because 0 plus a number, 0 minus a number, one's going to be positive, the other's going to be negative. And if the number's negative, it just the other way around. Questions on this here? We have two more wanting us to find the vertex, focus, direct 6 axis of symmetry. Which one of those two do y'all want to look at? So negative y equals -x squared, or I think the other one is x equals -1/6, or other direction. Yeah. Or x equals 1/6 y squared. Which one of those two do y'all want to look at? This one here? Okay. This is actually, might be helpful. H, K, P, A. So looking at this here, what's the value of H and K? 0, 0. They're still 0, 0. Because even if we did have, say, +7, K in this case would be 7, H would still be 0. What's the value of A? -1. Now to find the value of P, P is equal to 1/4A. We plug in A. So 1/4 times -1 is -1/4. Vertex is our h comma k, so this here is 0, 0. Now, since it is y equals, we have h comma k plus p. Well, I know the h is 0. K plus p would be 0 plus negative 1/4, which is negative 1/4. Direct 6. Y equals k minus p. Well, k minus p would be 0 minus negative 1/4, which would be 1/4. And that should be a y, not an x. And x is a symmetry. X is equal to h. So x equals 0. So even though the vertex is at the origin, did this change really anything that we're doing? No. Now, this note sheet did give you new equations, quote unquote. But all it did was took the equations we've been using all week and stuck in 0 and 0 for h and k. So it simplified it down, just told us the vertex is 0, 0. Tells us the axis of symmetry is either x equals 0, y equals 0. And instead of telling us the focus is h comma k plus p, or h plus p comma k, it just plugged 0 in for h and k and simplify. That's all it did, threw across all of it. I think it's easier just to use the general forms that we've been using and just stick the zeros in those values where we have them. Now we're going to do some writing the equation of the parabola from the given form. So they gave us this picture here. Direct 6. I'll write just straight over the top of it. Flat line is y equals. Horizontal line, y equals. Vertical line is x equals. So this is y equals 1, 2, 3, 4, so y equals 3. Vertex is told to us to be the point 0, 0. Yes? We agree with this so far? Okay. Direct 6, y equals. Well, the only one that has a direct 6 of y equals is our y equals k minus p. Vertex is still the point h comma k. So this told us the values of h and k are 0 and 0. Now to find the value of p, well, I know that k minus p is 3. I'm kind of getting ahead of myself too. I didn't. Well, all I meant was that I didn't write the general form down. Because since we know the direct 6 is y equals k minus p, our equation has to be our y equals a times x minus h squared plus k. So the direct 6, so based off the equation or the graph, since it's a flat line, it's y equals vertical. Vertical line is x equals. Horizontal line is y equals. So since we know that this is y equals 3, we know that this is the general form of the equation, so we get y equals a times x minus h squared plus k. Now to find p, x minus p equals 3, or k minus p equals 3, k is 0. Well, 0 minus p is just negative p. To make p positive, we can either multiply or divide by what? Negative 1. Telling us p is equal to negative 3. Now we just need to find the value of a. And a is equal to 1 over 4p. And at this point here, we can plug it in, because we can plug in the calculator 1 over 4 times negative 3. 1 over 4 times negative 3 is negative 1/12. Questions on how we found HK, P, or A. So let's plug this in. So we plug negative 1/12 in for A. X minus H is 0. K is 0, yes? Well, what is X minus 0? It's just X, yes? So do I really need X minus 0 squared? No. What would X minus 0 squared reduce to? X squared, yes? Do I need the plus 0? So y equals negative 1/12 x squared. All that would reduce. Even if we did have a value for h, we don't need plus 0 for k, or vice versa. If we had h as 0, we can just rewrite that as x squared. If you left the parentheses, that would still be correct. Because if you wrote it like this here, that's still the same thing. But we don't necessarily need them. Questions on this here? We're ready for the next one. Now this one here, they were nice enough to tell us what the directrix equation is. Now since they told us the directrix is y equals, well, we know we're dealing with y equals a times x minus h squared plus k. You know the directrix equations in the general form is y equals k minus p. Vertex, they told us, is the point 0, 0. So that means the value of h and k are both 0 and 0. Now to find the value of p, k minus p is our directrix equation, and we're told that that value is negative 2.5, yes? Plug in k. K is, well, we're really saying that negative p is equal to negative 2.5. So at this point here, we can divide both sides by negative 1, telling us p is 2.5. Questions on how we found the value of p? To find a, we just put it into 1 over 4p. I just grab a calculator, 1 over 4 times 2.5. .1. So we get y equals 0.1 times x minus 0 squared plus 0, or y equals 0.1 x squared. Now, if you wanted to write this as a fraction, 0.1 is the same as 1/10. These are the same answer. With equations, we don't want to use mixed numbers, so we wouldn't write it if it was, say, 11/10. We wouldn't write it as 1 1/10. We'd write it as 11/10 or 1.1. So we'd want it as a mixed or an improper fraction or a decimal for an equation. We don't want improper fractions. Yeah, so the one in green, I just converted 0.1 to a fraction, which is 1/10. One or the other. I don't need both. Questions on this here? Any different than what we did yesterday and the day before? No, just H and K or both. 0. I think we only have this one and one more, right? Or is it just this one? Oh, 2 more. Yeah. We'll look at this one and at least one more. So here it told us the directrix is x is equal to -3, yes? So that's kind of helpful, because that tells us x is equal to h minus p, which does tell us the equation in the general form is our x is equal to a times y minus k squared plus h, yes? But it didn't tell us anything else. Did it tell us what the vertex was? It did, but it didn't tell it as part of that. What it told us up in the instructions, write an equation of the parabola with the vertex at 0, 0. So for us here, it means h is 0, k is 0. So the directrix h minus p would be -3. So we can plug 0 in for h. 0 minus p is -3. Really, we're saying that -p is equal to -3. I'm going to multiply both sides by -1. -1 times -p is p. -3 times -1 is 3. A is 1 over 4 p. 1 over 4 times 3 is 112. Questions on this here? I don't think we need to do too many more of these. I think we got the hang of them, yes? So out of the last two, they're both focus. I'll let y'all pick which one we do. -2, 0, or 0, 3/2. Doesn't matter what. 7? Now with either one of these focus, because they told us that the vertex is still the point 0, 0. Now with the focus, I've just got to line it up. Because vertex to focus, we're looking for which one changed from the vertex to the focus. So the vertex is the point 0, 0. The focus is the point 0, 3/2. Did the first value change or the second value? Second. So the general form would be our h, k plus p. Vertex is still the point h, k. H, k, P, A, we do need to find those. But because the focus is the point H comma K plus P, our general form is y equals A times X minus H squared plus K. Well, H and K are both 0, yes? Now we are saying that K plus P should equal 3/2, yes? What's the value of K? So 0 plus P, whatever P is, should equal, well, 0 plus P. We added nothing to P, so it's just going to be P is 3/2, yes? A is 1 over 4 times P. So we'd have 1 over 4 times 3/2. Is so A is that's it. Questions on this here? Question on anything we've done so far? Your assignment, 13 through 16, 25 through 27, 31, 32, 35, 36. That's 11 problems. It looks like a lot more than that, but that's just 11. Yeah, so 13 through 16, 25 through 27. So 13 through 16, given the equation, find the focus, directrix, axis of symmetry, vertex. Yeah, just focus, directrix, axis of symmetry. Go on and give me the vertex if you remember to, but you do not have to graph those. 25 through 27, we just want to write the equation. They gave us, even on the directrix, they give us the equation. We just need to find it. And then 31, 32, 35, 36, just given the equation, or given the information, find the equation. I'm going to change it slightly. We're going to make it 12. I want 28. Yeah. So 25 through 28. 25 through 28. It's just giving you one more of those equations with x equals for the directrix. 25 through 28. Yeah. But that's it.